Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of POH Bother, my chunk-locked Ultimate Iron Man. To start off this episode, I wanted to take a minute to talk about my gear because, well, 7 episodes ago, in episode 7, I got my Void armor here, and since then, my gear honestly just hasn't changed that much. Part of that is just because I haven't had much opportunity, like I haven't unlocked certain chunks that would lead to gear upgrades, but I also have been reviewing the stuff in my current chunks, and there are some gear upgrades I can be working towards, especially with the recent unlocks of Herb Lore and Prayer Potions. So I want to take a minute to kind of go over that and what I'll be doing over the next few episodes. So I put together this handy little graphic to kind of show you where my priorities are at. So the items outlined in yellow are short-term goals, meaning I'll probably get them this episode. The ones outlined in orange are midterm goals, which means I'll probably get them over the next few episodes, might start on this episode, might get them next episode, I don't know, but they're not as immediate. And the ones in red are long-term goals, meaning I'll want to work on them in the near future, but it might be a few episodes from now. So yeah, but these are the slots I'm looking to upgrade: amulet, weapon, cape, shield, and boots. I could upgrade other slots like my armor slots, or even a blessing in the ammo slot, but I just don't think those are really big goals or a big deal to upgrade right now. Like, Void is still a very powerful armor set, even if I could get stuff that's maybe a little stronger, a little more tanky. Like, I could go for a fighter torso, though Barbarian Assault is a bit annoying on an Ultimate Iron Man, but I feel like until I get other upgrades, like the Slayer Helm, it's really not worth using a torso over Void. So yeah, but this is what I'm going to be working on, and I'll talk more about the specific items for each slot once I get to them. But yeah, so that's kind of what you have to look forward to over the next few episodes, and some of the grinds I'll be doing. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get into this episode. After the last episode, I decided to stick around here at the stone chest and work on my thieving a bit more, and I'm up to 73 now. I also did manage to turn around my clue luck a bit. Previously, I had only 5 clues in 1,000 chests when they're 1 in 100. Only managed to complete 3 of those. And now I'm at 2,100 chests with a total of 18 clues, counting the 5 from last episode. And out of those additional 13 clues, I managed to turn 5 into caskets, which brings me to the first gear upgrade I want to work on, which is the boot slot. Now, this is a long-term goal just because there's only so much I can do to speed this up. It's just depending on if I get lucky on clues or not. As I've shown, clues can be pretty slow to get on this account, especially because I only have like a 43% chance to complete a medium clue. So I still plan to grind this over the next few episodes until I get some boot upgrades. But yeah, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So let's open these first few caskets, and on the first one I get, ooh, another unique item. Also, I was mistaken in the previous episode. I thought the only unique I got was the Mithril Plate Body, but I also got the vestments, but they store in the easy part of the treasure chest, which is why I forgot I had them. But now I have the skirt to go with it. Probably will never use it, but I have it. And the next one... So yeah, just to mention, the items I'm after... Did I really get a duplicate cloak? It's not coming up in the collection log, so apparently. But the items I'm after are specifically Holy Sandals, because they give a +3 prayer bonus, Spiked Manacles, because they have +4 strength, the same as Dragon Boots, which would need 83 Slayer, and Ranger Boots, because they are the best storable boot I can have, slightly better than Blessed Hide. So, yeah. I did have Wizard Boots previously listed, but I decided they're not really a big goal, because I can also get Infinity Boots later on. So... And the final one is, darn. Well, no boots now, but yeah. Like I said, this is something I'm going to have to work on over the next several episodes, just because, I don't know, it just depends when I get lucky, and there's only so much I can do to speed that up. So I've been up to a few things over the past bit. I spent the last few days AFKing at Sand Crabs using up my new strength and attack potions, and I got to 82 hit points, 80 strength, and 78 attack and defense. I would have stayed till 80 attack and defense, but, well, it just would take a lot more AFKing to get that, since I only have control with the D-Spear here, and I didn't want to wait that long, but I do have a chunk unlock for 80 hit points and 80 strength here that I can roll in a minute. I also did go back and do another Slayer task so I could finish off 55 Slayer, which means I can now use the Brawled equipment and leaf-bladed stuff and access to Turoffs. So I don't know if I'll be heading there anytime soon. And I was also cleaning up my looting bag, mixing up some potions, and I got 45 Herb Lore. But the most notable thing that has happened, while I was working on 55 Slayer, I had a Greater Demon task, it dropped a hard clue, and I actually got a casket from it. Now, this is pretty big for a few reasons. Well, one, I wasn't planning on doing hard clues just because the chance to get a hard clue is pretty rare. I mean, I went dry on hellhounds like 3 times the rate. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting to farm them that easily. And at the moment, I only have a 6.7% chance of getting a casket, and I can't even store the items. So it didn't seem worth it. But if I get a clue while doing Slayer or such, I'll usually attempt it unless it just seems really out of the way and contrary to what I'm working on. So, yeah, but the reason this is a big deal is when I was showing my things earlier, you might have noticed that the weapon slot had orange and red, and that meant one was a medium or mid-term goal, one was a long-term goal, and there's actually a few items for that slot. But one of the items I did want to work on was a magic short bow. Now, the way I want to get this is by going for 80 fletching, just because it did not seem viable to farm hard clues to try and get a magic shortbow that way, or kill spiritual rangers in the Wildy God Wars dungeon. But I still do want to get 80 fletching, because I think it is good if I can make my own bows instead of having, to rely on rare drops in case I want to drop it for inventory space. But this could be a magic shortbow or other upgrades, so let's just open it and see what I get, and... okay. Well, I mean, it's a magic longbow, which, it's not really good. But Guthix D-hide boots. Like I said, I can't store them right now because I don't have the upgraded treasure chest in my player-owned house. But that is a really nice boot to get. It is currently my best boot I have for ranging, and I guess I'll probably just wear them over the boots, or these boots. I mean, they give better stats, but, not the weight reduction. But, I don't know. I'll decide what I want to do in a minute. But, yeah, it definitely is a nice item to have. I do want to try and work on getting the upgraded costumes sometime in the future. But, well, I guess this brings me over to the next topic, which is chunks. So if I just flip over here to the chunk picker... So, I got tab early last episode, which is a really big chunk. So, I wanted to briefly talk about some of the other big chunks I want to work on. Now, obviously, I'd love to work more towards Monkey Madness and some of the other quests down here, even just getting Shiloh Village, or even this chunk so I can do Jungle Potion would be pretty good, or at least be another free unlock afterwards from the quest. I think if I get this chunk, I can do Dig Site now that I have Herb Lore, which would also be pretty nice. And, of course, it would be nice to get an Avas, but I need the farm over here and Berthorpe over here. Berthorpe is another big chunk because I could get Graceful finally, which would be really handy with how much running around I do, and also the Rogue outfit and put me closer to Defenders, and also Climbing Boots. And the main chunk, though, I'm waiting on is South Rock. I'll go into more detail when I eventually unlock this, but pretty much it has so many good things down here. It will unlock new construction training methods, a bunch of quests. It's just a lot of stuff. So, yeah, with that out of the way, though, let's just roll the chunks. I forgot to unlock the map again. I have no idea how I keep forgetting to unlock this. I'm going to blame being tired. Also, the Camelot chunk and the Lovakenge chunks would also be nice. So, yeah, the first chunk, though, for 80 hit points is... ooh... well, I did say I wanted to work more towards this direction, but yeah, that is a very big one, because now I can actually use the log shortcut, and I'm 1 away from the shipyard, and I believe this is the last chunk I need for the Grand Tree. Yep, so now that I got this chunk, I can land down here for the quest, and yeah, almost at the shipyard, and also this would be needed for Shiloh Village down here as well, so definitely a very nice chunks to have in Karamja, and now for 80 strength, I get... oh! Well, I completely forgot to mention this. Yeah, the Lighthouse is another very big one I want. Unfortunately, I still can't do Horror from the Deep because I need this chunk right over here for it because you have to, repair that bridge. So, but now I'm just 1 chunk roll away from being able to complete that, and that means I can finally free up all those pages I have in my looting bag. But, yeah. But now there's actually another weapon upgrade I want to start looking into. One thing that became apparent while doing all that training at Sand Crabs is that my weapons could stand to be better. So the D-Spear isn't terrible, it's, a fast weapon with decent stats, but it's still not as good as most dragon weapons like the Mace or the Scimitar, and the Longsword is a far cry from even the Spear and DPS. So I definitely want to upgrade my weapons, but since I haven't been able to get chunks that allow me to go for stuff like the D-Mace or the D-Scimitar, I haven't had many options. But one thing I have been looking into is Seracnus, because I have had the chunks for Seracnus, I just wasn't sure if I was able to kill it. And I ran some DPS calcs, and it did not look viable that the D-Spear, even with its crush style, would be able to take it down. But that was before I got Herb Lore. Now, there are some other options I can go for to make this a lot easier, but since I have prayer potions now, I figure it's at least worth trying to see if I can kill Sarachnis, because if I could grind the cudgel, that would be a massive upgrade. It would be better than a dragon scimitar, and probably the best thing I'm going to get until I get a whip eventually. So I think it's at least worth considering, even if it would kind of skip over some of the progression that I could have. But yeah, so this is the setup I'll be rocking. I have a combat potion just to boost my stats, and a prayer potion, and I'm just planning to do overheads. I don't want to do stat boosting prayers because it might drain too fast, and just see if I can get a kill. So yeah, I'm going to do this attempt and see how it goes. Okay, I can't chance it here, but yeah, it was a pretty close kill. I definitely could have got the kill if I just played it a bit better. I took some hits I didn't need to, but I definitely think Sarachnis is viable, but I will want to see if I can upgrade my gear a bit more before I go there. So, I don't know, some of the other things I was showing earlier in the slots here would be things I'm considering, but mainly there's actually one weapon I'd want specifically for Sarachnis, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to start that grind yet. But yeah, the Sarachnis Cudgel, though, is that orange weapon, the medium-term weapon, whatever I termed it, that I would like to work towards. But yeah, it's going to be quite the grind, and it was a little more challenging than I was expecting, not gonna lie. Let's see, I started the kill around, yeah, it took me around like 5 minutes in there for that, and I didn't even manage to get the kill, but I don't know, I wasn't expecting the D-Spear to be that effective there based on my DPS calculations, but I don't know. Hopefully I can get some of the other gear upgrades and do better there in the future, but for now I'm gonna have to put a pin in Sarachnis. One of the upgrades I wanted for Sarachnis, and one of the ones I want to work towards this episode, is the Amulet, and it's probably not much of a surprise that I want to go for an Amulet of Glory. Unfortunately, the Hunter grind is not being as nice as I'd like. There is Ninja Implings, but I still need 9 more levels to get to 83 so I can hunt some Dragon Implings, and there we go. But yeah, I don't know. Red Salamanders aren't that bad. It's just not as quick as I was hoping, and just a little more click intensive than I need right now. Ideally, I want something a little more AFK than this. And it wouldn't be bad if I could unlock red chins too. Not like they're that much quicker hunter-wise, but if I could unlock box traps, I could catch them and then use the chins for training range. So that wouldn't be bad. But yeah, that's a grind. I might not finish this episode at the rate things are going, but I definitely do want to get to 83 hunter so I can catch some Dragon Implings and hopefully get my hands on some glories, because that's not only going to be the best amulet I can get for a while, at least until I can craft a Fury, which, yeah, the crafting grind's also not going to be that fun. But also, it would unlock the glory in my player-owned house, which is an account goal, so it's one I really want to get done soon. As a break from the Hunter grind, I decided to come and work on the Watchtower quest, since I got the ability to complete it last episode and just didn't bother. But with this, there we are. There is the Watchtower quest completed, and I can use the teleport spell now. Huh. Alright, they added that recently, and I didn't have that turned off. It's kind of funny. A little annoying. Probably will turn it off. But yeah, so that's another quest completed, so I get another chunk unlock from that, and a decent bit of magic experience too, because I would like to work on getting my magic up a bit for some other goals of mine, but that's a later problem. And why do I keep forgetting to unlock this? So the chunk 4 Watchtower quest is Isle of Souls. Not the chunk I really want to see, though. Actually, I have to see if I could also unlock this chunk, or if I have to take the corner around. It looks like those trees probably aren't passable, but I'll probably just run out there real quick and, you know, just check it out. But yeah, not really where I want to see, though there is some stuff in the Isle of Souls, though it's mainly over here in this Slayer Cave, or this dungeon here. Yeah, the Isle of Souls dungeon that has a bunch of monsters, and Konar can assign tasks there. So it's one of the things holding me up from being able to go like fully into Konar Slayer right now. But I actually think what I want to do now is work on some of my chunk tasks. I started to do them the other episode, or I did a couple the other episode and plan to do more, and just right now have time to work at them. And yeah, I have, I think, 32 completed right now, and I'd like to try and get to 40 so I can get another 2 chunk unlocks, one for 35 and one for 40. So let me start on that now. Well, that took far longer than I expected. So yeah, there's the flippers, or kill a Mulgar and get flippers as a drop as one of the chunk tasks. It's a 1 in 64, and it took me 208 Mogre kills, so at least I can finally put this in the player-owned house, even though I probably won't use them much for underwater. But the first chunk task down, making, I think, 3 out of the 5 for the chunk unlock. This is one that I'm pretty sure I've already done in the past, I just didn't record it for the chunk task, but there is Slay a Wall Beast in the Lumbridge Swamp Caves. And for the final chunk task for the first chunk unlock of now is killing the big wolf on White Wolf Mountain. So yay, I now have 5 chunks, or did 5 chunk tasks to unlock another chunk, and I still have 5 more I want to do before I start rolling them though. So when I made this chunk task to harvest jute above Sears Village, I'm not sure if I realized it was a diary task to plant jute up here, but yeah, there is some jute harvested above Sears. And here is Slay an Infernal Mage in the Slayer Tower. Defeat a sand crab on Crabclaw Island. Catch an anglerfish in Port Piscarius. Unfortunately, I don't have the level to cook them yet, but I can catch them. And for the final chunk unlock, I have a bit of a weird one. Defeating Solarian the Twisted. So it's actually a Chaos Druid boss in the Yanel dungeon that's not that popular, but yeah, he takes bonus damage from strike spells, but you only can damage him with strike spells. I actually was looking into this guy because I might kill him more in the future, though as you can see, he has a pretty long respawn time. I actually have no idea how long it is, so I'll probably have to hop to kill him. But he drops Sinister Keys, which always gives the same amount of herbs, and they come noted, so they might actually be a decent way to farm certain herbs. So, yeah, I don't know, I might actually stay down here and do a few kills on him. But that completes the chunk tasks I wanted to do for now for a few chunk unlocks. So let me get the chunk picker pulled up. You know, this is surprisingly AFK because he aggroes me and I just kill him and I don't take much damage. So definitely something I'll be exploring more in the future. But for now, I have the 2 chunk unlocks to do. So the first chunk unlock for the chunk tasks is... Well, I did check and I couldn't get to this chunk until I opened that one. But where did I roll Isle of Souls twice in a row? And the second chunk unlock is... Ooh, the mountain camp. I don't think I can do much here right now because I might be able to get into the mountain camp now for the clue step. I'll try it if I ever get the clue step, but I'm pretty sure the quest, well, it needs Relica to do the quest, Mountain Dalder, and I think you might even need Fremnic Trials as a requirement. I can't remember. But, yeah, not too bad, or at least this isn't a bad chunk. Isle of Souls, to be seen. Oh, hey, white berries. But, so yeah, I think that's going to end up the chunks for now, and I'll probably go back to working on Hunter. Instead of going back to Hunter, I ended up going on a bit of a side quest. So one method that was on my radar as something to try was, cutting yew trees, fletching and stringing the bows, and then alching them, because there's a spot in the known stronghold with flax, a spinning wheel, and yew trees, so it seemed kind of viable, but I did not expect it to be that good. But I was looking for some of the AFK and I thought, that's going to be pretty AFK. Turns out it was actually quite viable, and it made me kind of reassess my plans. Because early in the episode, I mentioned how I was interested in getting to 80 fletching so I could make my own magic short bow. But at the time, I was thinking I need to buy 135k broad arrows for like 8 mil and use that to get to 80 fletching. And, you know, I didn't really have 8 mil. But since I realized that the yew bow strat was actually kind of viable, it's something I could AFK and get decent experience rates from. Like, I think my fletching and woodcutting experience at yew trees were higher than fletching or woodcutting and fletching willows at the woodcutting guild. I don't know how, but it was. So it actually seemed pretty viable as a way not only to get fletching and woodcutting experience, but also to make some money. And that also means if I did that, I'd need less broad arrows and I could more easily fund the broad arrows. So the gears got turning, and I decided instead of fletching yew bows now, because I can only do yew short bows, I could get to 70 fletching, fletch yew long bows, get more experience and more money, and then use that to buy more broad arrows. So pretty much the plan was, okay, I'm going to stop fletching and I'll unlock broad arrows. The problem was broad fletching needs 300 Slayer points, and I did not have 300 Slayer points. So, okay, I'm going to go and do Slayer for a bit. It turns out I did a lot of Slayer. I'm not 100 tasks, I previously had 50, and the reason is because one of the first tasks I got was Iron Dragons, which means I had to spend 100 points blocking that, so now I have Iron and Steel Dragons blocked. So yeah, it was a whole thing, but I decided just to go to 100 tasks so I could get the bonus 450 points from Konar. And if we go here to rewards, I have a lot of Slayer points now. Did have to skip one. And yeah, now I can unlock broader fletching, so I can make broad arrows. But yeah, in addition to that though, a few other things has happened. One, I got 60 Slayer, which means I get a chunk unlock for, 60 Slayer, or, well, 61 Slayer. I also got some Brimstone Keys. There isn't a lot I really want from these, but I got them. Also, I did get the Draymond staff back because I got Zygomites. I was going to skip them, but it was only like 10. I'm just like, it's probably worth getting the Draymond staff back just to save the points. And I did clean up my looting bag because since I've been having all these herbs and potions, it's just getting a bit much. So I tried slimming it down. I got rid of some stuff I just wasn't using. And as you might notice, I finally got rid of those teletabs I've been holding on to since very early in the account. And I did end up alching the Dragon Longsword. So yeah, sad to see it go, but I had the D Spear and I wasn't really using it much over the D Spear, and also actually used up all my steel arrows, and now I have a bone crossbow because I need a ranged weapon for Slayer. So yeah, let's quickly open up the chest though. Like I said, there isn't much I really care to get here. Didn't realize that was a notification every time I got a high value loot there. Oh, redwood seed, that's completely useless. Snap seeds, I don't know what I'll do with them. Pure essence is pretty useless. More snap seeds. Coins aren't terrible. Okay, well, at least I got a lot of coins. That's actually pretty decent, or probably the best thing I could get. I was kind of hoping I might get the Dragon Hasta, which would have been a pretty nice weapon, but I have other weapons I can get that are comparable, and I just wish I got better seeds than Snap, because, I mean, it's a really good one. I just can't make super restore potions anytime soon. I think there are, like, yeah, 63, so it's a little far off that I might not even try keeping this many seeds. I don't know. I'll consider bagging them. And, raw sea turtles. I have sharks, and I don't even know if I can cook these, and probably just drop the pure essence in this. I have to consider about these. But, yeah, so let's roll the one chunk, though, to see if I get anything good for 60 Slayer. And I get... Okay, that is actually pretty interesting. So the reason I needed, or this was rollable, is because despite this being Kazari Jungle, which I can't get into, I needed to get this chunk to go this chunk so I can get to the front of Shiloh Village. I also could go this way over the stepping stones, but this is a path I can go. It's connecting chunks, so yeah. But I don't know, I would like to definitely get more Karamja. That probably wasn't the most useful chunk on Karamja I could have got. But for now, I think the plan is I'm going to go back to fletching for a bit. Well, I need to buy all those broad arrowheads. Because, right here, to pack some, they cost a lot, and I have to get more of my money out of the coffers. But, yeah, and probably sort my inventory a bit, too. But, yeah, I think I'm going to work on fletching and try and get to 70. Well, this grind went very quick. Well, that didn't take long at all. Here is 70 fletching. After doing so many slow methods, it's just really insane how fast broad arrows actually are. I was thinking it was like a 400k experience per hour, and I was doing it efficiently. And yeah, there's all 15k broad arrows. I think I forgot to mention that's how many I needed in the last clip. But yeah, that will definitely be useful for when I get a bow that can fire them. Also, just to mention, since I'm here, and also to put that on real quick, yeah, this is the spot where I'll be cutting. I can pick flax here. There's a spinning wheel up these stairs, and there's 3 yew trees. So yeah, it's a pretty nice spot. So now I can cut, fletch, and string and alch some yew longbows now, and hopefully make a good bit of money and chip away at getting to 80 fletching for that magic short bow. But now there's a chunk to roll. So let's see what I get for 70 fletching. And it is, oh, that's actually a really good one. I think I might have mentioned it earlier in the episode, but this chunk was holding me back from doing Jungle Potion, which I think is holding me back from Zogre Flesh Eaters, which it's a whole little series of things. But I think this now allows me to do a lot of quests, actually. I think can I actually do Typo on a Trio? Yeah, it looks like I can. So, yeah, this really opened up a lot of the Karamja quests, and I know Jungle Potion was a requirement for, I think, a little more than even just Zogre Flesh Eaters. I don't know, I have to double check. But, yeah, it's definitely a very good chunk, and now a lot of quests I can do as well. And I think that is where I'll be wrapping up this episode. Unfortunately, I've just been a little too busy to focus on Hunter, so I wasn't able to get that goal done like I wanted. But I at least got to introduce my new item goals or gear goals I want to be working on over the foreseeable future. And yeah, there's a lot more to come there. I also do have a lot of new quests I can work on thanks to that last chunk. And I should also hit the next quest milestone soon. But there is one more thing I wanted to do before wrapping up this episode, and that is make a few more broad arrows here, as you might be able to guess. Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of fletching over the last, week and a half. And here is 80 fletching. So yeah, like I said, I've been a bit too busy to do Hunter, but I have had some time just to AFK some yew trees. So there is 80 fletching as well as 1600 total level, which means I can now do this. So yeah, it's not an exaggeration to say this is a pretty big upgrade. It is so much more accurate than a yew short bow. I mean, you probably know the bonuses. It's 69, and a yew short bow is like under 50. I think it's like 47, and when I imbue this, it goes to 75. And also means I can now fire broad arrows, which is a lot better than steel arrows. So really looking forward to using this in the next episode and finishing up these broad arrows here. And that also means I have a couple of chunks to roll, one for 80 fletching, and then a selection chunk for 1600 total. So the first chunk is... oh boy, I do not remember how these forest pathways work. I think here and here are now rollable. I don't remember where dense jungle is. I might need to go through dense jungle to get up here. I'm gonna hold off just for the time being. I'll check it between episodes. But yeah, I can't do dense jungle until I talk to the guy in the camp. And I know I need to go this way to get to the camp. So, I don't know. Maybe there's another path I'm forgetting. But I'll double check on my main before rolling chunks in the next episode. But for right now, I really want to do the roll 2 pick one. So, okay, let's see. Well, which one would I rather have? I mean, the Forsaken Tower would be nice, but I don't have the mine up here. Until I get the mine, I can't get favor and I can't do the quest. So I actually think I am just going to pick the graveyard here just so it opens up the map and I can use the altar here. I know it's needed for a few other quests that I can't do yet either. But I don't know, it's just a nice one to get out of the way. So if I do need to go around the town, I don't have to go all the way like this. I mean, I could also go... no, I couldn't go down here because that was blocked. So yeah, it would make it a little easier to get around now. So yeah, but I don't know, not too major of chunk unlocks to end off the episode, but a pretty major weapon, and well, I have a lot of quests to do that will unlock a lot more chunks next time, so I'm sure I'll have a lot more chunk rolls soon. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Like I said, I still have a lot of gear upgrades to get, and well, the short bow is the first one of those, so at least I did achieve one this episode, and I have to get back to the glory and working on the others next time. So yeah, without further ado, thank you all for watching. Until next time, goodbye.